let's lighten the mood a little bit, shall we? Let's bring some calming music in.
I could do this all day.
Yeah, relax, everybody. Ooh, yeah.
I like this.
Yeah, this is nice. Just a little mood change before we dive into our spoiler-free talk of Doctor Strange 2 in the Multiverse of Madness. All right, wake up, fuckers. All right, here we go.
That's enjoying that.
I know how to wake you guys up. Oh, shit. Ah, no. God, fuck you.
See,
Don't do it
you
again.
started it.
You should have not said, I know how to wake you guys up. You should have just played it.
Just do it.
Just done it. That would have been funny.
All right.
No,
So
you
for
won't do
this, Seth, can you get rid of that banner, please? Thank you. You read my mind. Were you just already there?
Yep.
All right. Let's set the mood a little bit before we start talking Doctor Strange.
Oh, that's pretty.
Oh yeah. Which one do you guys like better? Let us know in the comments. We got this one or this one. All right. You're welcome. Welcome to Film Chick. Checks in the mail for your disability. Okay. Oh, I thought Ramon was playing that game again. Right.
Oh.
I thought he was acting like he was frozen. All right. Well, first things first, before we dive into the actual review, Doctor Strange 2 original runtime versus theatrical. All three of us have seen Doctor Strange, correct? All right.
Yes.
And we're all in agreement. No spoilers moving forward, correct?
No spoilers whatsoever.
Hearsay.
Objection, hearsay.
Objection. I want to talk about spoilers. No.
Correct. Hearsay, correct. Objection. You can't object. It was your own question. All right. Wasn't there a movie where somebody objected to themselves and they said they couldn't do that? Anyway, that actually happened in the Amber Heard case. Okay. So this had come out about the runtime of this movie originally. And it was Sam Raimi talking to Collider. He says, well, the first cut was, I actually don't remember the length of it. It was probably like 2 hours and 40 minutes. And it slowly came down. Even though we did reshoots, it took out material, even though the reshoots went in. So it slowly got down to about 2 hours and 5 minutes is the total. So he's looking at almost a 3 hour runtime before they edited it down. So just keep that in mind as we talk about what we like, what we don't like, and what we're on the fence about, and whatever about Doctor Strange 2 and about Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Okay. Seth, first reaction, Doctor Strange, go for it.
It was very mediocre.
Wow, the impactful words of Seth Draven, everybody. Whew, is a man of few words, but I'll tell you what, those words are quiet. So,
no, it was not great.
So you're not a fan of Doctor Strange 2?
I'm not. I hate to be that
Really?
guy, but I'm really not. I don't dislike it.
Don't hate to be that guy. You don't hate to be yourself. It's okay.
No, but what I mean though is like I always see like when there's like a movie that's getting a ton of praise, I see people like, oh my god, this movie's incredible. There's always that one guy shows up, it's like, well, actually, this movie sucks.
Did you read the comic?
Yeah. So I'm trying not to be that guy, but like, I don't know. It just didn't work for me.
Okay.
And
Let me ask you this instead, because let's not look at this as a love it or hate it. Okay. Roundabout, what did you like about this movie? Let's start with that. What did you like about this film?
I did like Strange himself. I thought he was well written, and I thought Benedict Cumberbatch gave a really good performance, as he usually does with the character. Yeah. But I did like him quite a bit. Oh, that's the end of the list, huh? No, I'm kidding.
Oh, is that it?
No, there's more. There is more. No idea if I can say it though.
without
it's
spoiling it.
Without spoiling it. That's the thing about this is most of my thoughts are spoiler related.
Well,
so it's hard for me to really say some stuff.
As long as you don't say names and titles and stuff like that, it's fine to bring it up. Just don't give any context to it. You know,
Right.
you can say X person and X cameo didn't do it for me. Here's why. You know,
I think I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm gonna save that for the spoiler thing, but I'll say this: there's certain cameos in this movie. I'm not gonna say what they are, obviously, but I just don't get why they were there. Other than, ooh, look, they served no purpose.
Right.
You could have taken them out. This movie would literally be exactly the same.
Correct.
They serve zero purpose, and that is really unfortunate because like they were really hyping it up, and I was like, oh wow, I can't wait to see what big role they play in this trailer. And then they just they were there
in the movie. In the movie, you mean?
No, they in the trailer they were hyping it up as they were to make it seem like they had a big role because they kept teasing. It's like, ooh, can't wait to see what they do, and they did nothing. You're talking
about Professor X,
the Illuminati as a whole. Yes,
the Illuminati as a whole.
They literally did nothing in this movie. I will go in depth with that at the whenever we get to spoilers.
Spoiler. I want to do a spoiler talk on either Monday or maybe a Sunday one.
Simon Cowell.
Yeah, Jimbo says Seth says I'm not trying to be that guy, but consistently is always that guy. I've come to notice that he's the Simon Cowell of the trio. You know what, Jimbo? I wouldn't call him the Simon Cowell. I would say Seth is probably the most emotional but most collected of us. You know, of the trio. Like he feels the most, but he's very collected. Ramon and I, we feel. Let me speak for myself. I feel fairly emotional, but I try to play the fence. I try to play devil's advocate on most things, but like I'm very expressive about it. Seth is not. Seth collects himself very well. Ramon's just an unhinged animal, but it's all that tea. Ramon, you are on the other hand, you really enjoyed this movie.
I loved it, mate.
What made you like it so much?
I'll tell you why I loved it, right? Because, and this is probably Seth's fault, actually. I watched Spider-Man, and I didn't like the last Spider-Man movie. There's parts of the movie I liked that I cried and I got emotional about because there was really beautiful moments in it, as we know, with Andrew Garfield. However, the main thing that I was upset with in Spider-Man was the reason for the story was just because. I can't get in college, so you've got to spend time in reality. And this movie has something very similar to that in terms of the story, and I was like, no, don't take it too seriously, just let it go. So I did. So once I did that, I really enjoyed the movie. If I was to sit here and think about it, I wouldn't like it. If I was to sit here and pick apart those things that I normally would, it would really bother me because I'd just go, this is just stupid.
So when you say there's a similarity, are you talking about what's her name? America Chavez?
America Chavez.
Chavez. Are you talking about her character?
Scarlet. I'm talking about Scarlet Witch.
Okay.
So the reason for this movie, again, it's the main thing I can't really say, but there's the reason for it just doesn't make sense to me. It's just kind of like, it doesn't make sense to me. But once I let that go, that's what I'm saying. It was so fast paced. There's so much going on. I don't know. I just really, really enjoyed it. And I'll be honest with you, and I've said it before. All right, Seth's saying about being that guy. I think all of the TV shows and everything after Endgame up till this has been absolute bum. I think it's been shit. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I'm being blunt. I don't think it's been good content. Everyone's going crazy about Moon Knight. It's not a good show. It's not a good show. The last episode, it was all going off, and then the girl turned into Wonder Woman halfway through it. Like, what is going on? Like, she did. You see it, Seth?
I've only seen episodes 1 and 6 of Moon Knight. That's how I watch my shows. I watch the premieres, and if they don't interest me enough, I just watch the final episode when they.
I haven't seen episode 6. I've seen all of them up until then, but
like I'm not being too harsh. Look, Moon Knight was okay, but we're talking about something that had 6 hours of work. This, I'd rather if this had another hour and slowed things down and had more story and you know, whatever. But I got more out of this than I did out of 6 hours of Moon Knight. That's what I'm saying. So, like, but if I was to pick it apart, like Seth said, if we're going to spoiler stuff and go, why did this happen? Why that? I'd probably go, you know what, this is stupid. So I've had to, again, with Marvel stuff, I've had to turn my brain off, man, and realise that they're just going to make stuff to just be like, oh, wow, spectacle, oh, explosion, spectacle, the end. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I'm treating it like that.
Yeah, and that's fair. It's actually a very fair assessment. It's something that I had to sit on because I called Seth as soon as I left the theater last night, and Seth and I almost went live last night. If I would have known I was going to be off work today, I would have went live with him last night. But I was pretty tired. I was like, no, I got to get up early. But like, we vented. Like if you would have asked me last night, my opinion would have been completely different than it is today. My opinion last night was this movie was not good. I was not happy with it. There were good parts, there were good elements, but what the F, you know? But as I've sat and thought about it and I've absorbed everything that I watched, I actually did now. I've grown to really enjoy what I watched. And it was a point of me trying to understand that whether Sam Raimi did it intentionally or he's being directed by Disney Plus to do this, but this felt like a standalone movie. It didn't feel like it needed to be or was connected to much, or at least definitively connected to the MCU surrounding it. And like a lot of my disappointment last night was, what was the point? What was the freaking point of Loki? Why did I watch Loki, who opened the multiverse, and it had nothing to do with this show?
Nothing.
Why did I watch WandaVision, and we just cherry picked little moments from WandaVision and put it in the show, but we didn't, where we saw Wanda at the end of WandaVision to where she was at the beginning of this movie are two completely different characters. And there's a lot missing there. Now, I'm going back to what I said here when I read Sam Raimi's comment about how much is on the cutting room floor. Now you add in, like he said,
that's a good point.
They did reshoots and they still cut down almost 40 minutes. So they did reshoots and all that stuff.
Pointed at something else. Yeah, you've actually just pointed at something. Yeah, I didn't like. You're right. The way in which Wanda, as soon as she's introduced, is pretty right. I'm good to go. Let's fight. She was very, very evil from the get-go, and that didn't make sense with the last time we've seen her. The last time we seen her at the end of WandaVision, she corrected what she did wrong, and you thought, right, she's going to go to try and find her kids maybe, or she's going to try and find Vision, or she's going to try and find something, and it was left for you to go, right, we come back, we here, and all of a sudden she's just Scarlet Witch, I'm really bad. And that, I agree with that. Yeah, it kind of gone from, where's what happened? Yeah, right. I'm with that.
So I feel like either they just decide to say, hey, you know what, we're going a new route. At the MCU here. Our continuity is getting very convoluted. So now we're going to try to like stick loose to continuity and just do more standalones. Or they did have an explanation of why Wanda was where she was in this movie, but it got put on the cutting room floor. One of those two reasons is what happened with this character. Monty says, I'm just tired of Marvel making their own characters into side characters on their own films/shows. Perfect example is Loki. And then he continues, Marvel has such an issue with character continuity and writing. Yeah, you agree with that, Seth?
I think because you give all these people, you give a bunch of different writers these characters, so they're never consistent. But like, you know who is consistent in everything they've been in so far? Guardians of the Galaxy. You know why? Because every time they're in something, James Gunn is in the background to help out. Yeah. None of these other characters have that.
Yeah. Real quick, Jimbo says, I haven't seen Doctor Strange yet. This saddens me. Jimbo, don't let this sadden you. Out of the three of us, two of us really like this movie.
I gave it 8 out of 10. Like, honestly, I did.
I gave it a B-. If you want to check out my non-spoiler review, it's in the link description of
it's
this
fun, man.
The link is in this description right now. I gave it a very high score, but like, because I had a lot of fun. Let me go back to the positives of this, because I don't want to sell this movie as a bad thing. The positives of this movie is that it is really fun. from beginning to end. Like it didn't. The beginning starts right out of the gate. Like right out of the gate, you're into the madness of the multiverse. You're right there, and this sets up expectation. This sets up the theme. This sets up just how this movie is going to play forward. You know, the speed in which the movie is going to play, and it stays consistent through the whole movie. And I love that about this film. I didn't have many parts, very few parts where I was like, okay, it's starting to drag. It didn't really do that to me in this movie. It was, I forget the word I'm looking for, but it's very consistent in the way it played out. And the characters, Doctor Strange, Wanda, I loved those characters in this movie. Yes, I do have issues with Wanda and her continuity from WandaVision, mostly because I invested a lot of my time in WandaVision. But like, honestly, if WandaVision didn't even come out and this movie is like just came out as a standalone, I don't need any of that stuff. If I take away all the MCU continuity, this is a really good movie. It is.
If you take away that, I mean, it's. I think you can. It's not. I mean, if you look at, so would you consider what you write on Wikipedia as the plot of the movie? Is that considered a spoiler?
Yes.
Okay, I won't say nothing then. No, because like you read the intro like at the top, it's got the names, the intro, the plot of the story is this.
The plot on Wikipedia is literally just everything that happens in the movie, so I would consider that.
Oh no, I mean I was just okay. I won't say I was just going to sort of say what the. I suppose. Yeah, you're right. I won't. You're right.
No, are you? Which character are you talking about specifically?
No, come on. No, about Wanda. Just again, but it's basically what the story is. So yeah, I won't. No, I'm just saying like that's
the basic story is there's this kid being chased across the multiverse for her powers. That's what they're doing. You know, that's not really giving away anything. It's not really a spoiler. Yeah. I mean, there's no real definition of what a spoiler is, but I didn't give away anything.
It's difficult not to, but
it's called Multiverse of Madness. You know, multiverse and people with powers are in it. So there you go. But with that being said, this movie, not only was it fun, but like there are really solid horror elements in this film. There's moments, especially near the second half of this film, where Sam Raimi just shines.
Yeah.
You know, I totally see Evil Dead in this movie.
Yeah.
You know, I totally picked up some Spider-Man vibes in this film. Like, it was great.
Did you not notice the, you know, the very last, what do you call it, post-credit? I know that it was referencing what was happening in the film, but did you not reference that it was part of Evil Dead as well? That he was. Did you get that?
Yeah, I did.
Did you?
I did.
You didn't get it, did you, Stevie?
No, I did. I just don't want to talk about what the
but it's
what
not
it
really,
was exactly.
It's not really,
okay, but
I mean,
we won't talk about what it is, but it's not a spoiler that he's in the movie.
Right.
Well,
the way I put it, Bruce Campbell is in the movie, and his cameo sucked. So.
What? I thought it was great, bruv. I love it.
It was good. I really liked it.
I get what you mean by the Evil Dead reference. I get it, but I don't want to.
I loved it, man.
I don't want to give that away. But at the same time, to me, the way I looked at it was, or the way I put it in my review, which again, the link to that review is in the description below, is that they're like, okay, we all know that Bruce Campbell's going to make a cameo, right? All right, you guys ready? Ready? Here it is. And then Bruce Campbell's like, Bruce Campbell, yay! Okay, moving on with the story. Like,
what do you want him to do? That's what he did in every Spider-Man movie.
Subtlety. This was like all of his other cameos in Sam Raimi movies are pretty subtle. Like they're funny, but they're subtle. This was like not subtle. This was like, okay, we're going on 11, whatever. Minor nitpick. But the horror elements of this movie, especially near the end, like that final battle, was just incredible. I loved it. I couldn't believe they let Sam Raimi do that for an MCU movie. Now, no, it's not gore. You're not going to see like blood gushing and body parts. Well,
but there were bits. I know what you mean. There were bits like the part that Seth was saying, the Illuminati part. I was like, whoa, for a Marvel movie, they're okay. I wish they. They danced around.
They danced around.
Yeah,
they did what they could, and they did a good job. Like what what they wanted to portray, they portrayed either on or off camera, but like it still didn't take away from the intensity of what was going on in that scene. You know, what was happening in that scene, Wanda was kicking ass and taking names, dude. You know, she was on 10 with her powers, unstoppable. That's what I loved about it. But the Illuminati scene itself, it was a double-edged sword because it was awesome and then it was also weak as hell. Like I couldn't figure out why or who
it was a wasted opportunity on that part. I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with that because when you look at the Spider-Man movie, you introduced everyone, and we was all worried for that exact reason. Is it going to be they're all going to turn up for like 5 seconds? This was kind of that, where if you bring that specific thing in, give them something. I agree with that.
Yeah, and Seth made a really good point. Go ahead, Seth. Were you about to say something?
I was just gonna say I only have 2 more things I want to say about it, both of which I will elaborate on a lot more if we do the spoiler thing. There's one part in this movie that made my jaw drop because I was not expecting it. I was just like, wow, they showed that. That was nuts. I'll tell you backstage what I'm talking about, but there was one part in this movie like, wow, that was intense.
What scene was it in?
Illuminati.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And then there's I don't know if I should say this one.
Well, again, just leave out names and actual context. Like there's a certain character in the Illuminati who got taken out in a very spectacular way.
X actor or actress in X role. Maybe
are you hitting at Professor X? No, not really.
Maybe not the best choice.
There's a wonderful fan service cameo in this movie. It really, we all know it's the multiverse of madness. We were all sitting there guessing how many people were going to be in this movie. So it's not a surprise that somebody made a cameo in this movie.
Ooh.
A couple of people did. And there's one cameo, like the big cameo, the one the whole theater would be up in arms about. Dude, it felt like it was phoned in. I'm not going to say who it was.
I agree.
Or anything, but the actor who played that character just seemed phoned in to me. I was like, oh my gosh, they're actually doing it. Oh my gosh,
yeah.
He's phoning it in.
A really wooden performance.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's all I can say about
which
it.
brings me to something I put on what I was on the fence about when it comes to this film was that Illuminati scene either seemed like it had a lot more to it and it ended up on the cutting room floor, or it was an afterthought. You know, it was one of those two.
I think they cut a lot out.
Well, yes, because Seth brought up to my attention about the seats. There's 7 Illuminati, right? We were introduced to 6.
There's often 7.
We were introduced to 6. There were 7 chairs, but they cut one of the chairs out. And
one of the chairs was cropped out.
It was cropped out of the movie. So who the hell was that 7th person, and why did they cut him out?
I know exactly who it was.
Tom Cruise, was it you? Was it you, Tom? But I had a lot of fun.
I can see what you mean by that whole thing, but I think the reason it didn't, as I say, the only reason this stuff didn't bother me so much is because not in a bad way, but I just switched off my brain, and because it was so fast paced, it went from that to about 10 other different locations. My brain was occupied by just jumping on and moving on. If you stop to think about it, like you say, you kind of go, missed opportunity there, guys. You know, so I think that's just how I've got to view the Marvel movies now, because if I look at it how I did with what we watched, you know, building up to Endgame, like the content that we got, the brilliance of what we got, if I treat this stuff like that, it's just going to annoy me. So I try not to do that now, which is sad. It's sad that I do that, because I shouldn't be doing that. I should be sitting here the same as Seth going, you know, but I'm trying to not think about it like that, because I've not take it too serious, which is bad. That's not a good thing for Marvel, because if you lose the fan base that think that way, that's what made it grow and made it so big, because the stories were so good, because it was so engaging. If you lose that, that's not a good thing. And I presume, I mean, from what I've seen online, it's not got the greatest of reviews, is it? Like the consensus of general people, you know, like after
Yeah.
Spider-Man, I wouldn't say the majority of people go, I love it. Oh, it's brilliant. I've seen people, it's all right. It's like that kind of, which isn't good for a Doctor Strange movie, is it? So, but I just really enjoyed it because I took it as a pinch of salt. Yeah, just watch it and go, hey.
Fair, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Jimbo says the scene/character I think you're talking about right now got spoiled for me on Twitter. Yeah. That's one thing. That's one thing I've seen. Yeah, Jimbo, without giving it away, that probably is who we're talking about. That wooden performance, as Seth said. But again, I keep going back to, if I look at this movie as standalone, and I get rid of all the other MCU stuff, it was a fun movie. I really enjoyed it. One thing I did notice was obvious reshoots. I don't know if anyone else noticed this, but did anybody check out or notice Wong's hair in this movie?
Yep, I noticed it.
I didn't.
Really, through the entire middle of the movie, his hair is like half an inch to an inch longer than it is at the beginning and the end of this movie, which tells me they either reshot the entire middle part of this movie or reshot the entire beginning and end of this movie. Either way, that raises a lot of questions of like, what was this movie supposed to be? What did they reshoot and why? You know, I would love to. I would love to see.
Do you know what? And I'm going to say it again, and it's off topic. It's the one thing I didn't, not Warner Brothers, but it's the one thing I love, and I've always loved about DC. And I'll say it again. It's because it's not going to appeal to everyone, but they just do their effing thing. And if the studio allows it, like we begged for the movie to come out that we got with Snyder, we get the fan movie that we want. And I feel this is another one of those where if there's a lot cut out of it, even if it's an hour, it might be an hour of story, slow moments where you go, oh mate, like it makes the difference. And you know, if they've got 40 minutes more of a movie, I know if you've got crap, you can take it out, but if you shot 40 minutes, that means someone in the studio's gone, oh, maybe it's too long, maybe it's, nah, bro, if the guy's done his thing and he's told a good story, just let it roll, let it happen. Like, but I don't know, that's just how I feel, because I think we're lucky, man. Like, as I say, those longer movies that we've had, you know, 2 hours onwards, and the directors been able to sort of do their thing, we've ended up getting something for the most part in those instances where we've come back and gone, oh, like we've watched something amazing because they've just let the reins off, bro. Just let them do their thing. And maybe that's the case with this. I don't know, but 40 minutes seems like a lot to sort of. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot to cut down. A lot to cut down, especially you take away that 40 minutes. Plus, they did reshoots and added those. So like that, it could be an hour that they took out and then added 20 minutes of the reshoots. It's amazing when you actually start to splice that down, what it could be. Now, another thing I did want to talk about on what I really enjoyed about this movie was, as Seth kind of pointed out earlier, you know, Doctor Strange and, you know, Benedict Cumberbatch, but like also Elizabeth Olsen's performance in this film was probably one of my favorite parts. She was so good. So good. Like even though like I had my like WandaVision like continuity issues, it didn't matter. Like I bought into it. This is a woman who is heartbroken and she's
wicked.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the performances in this film were solid. The pacing was great. The visuals were awesome, except for that goddamn third eye. That third eye looked dumb.
That's what I was saying. That's honestly, it's a bit of like horror. That's going to be a haunting for Marvel for years to come. That's going to be something that gets picked at and laughed at, because even in the movie, I was just like, it just doesn't look right.
Right. It was the same thing with Thor and Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok, when he got his eye jabbed out.
Oh yeah.
And they tried to like play off there was a hole in his eye, but there was no hole.
You can see his eye there, like Chris Hemsworth's actual eye. You can see the CGI over it.
Yeah, it was so weird and strange looking. And this is kind of the same deal.
Strange looking.
Yes, what I mean. If it doesn't, that's what I'm saying. The whole thing with the eye, if that wasn't even in the movie at all, it wouldn't have made a difference. It still would have had a bad version and a bad version. It wouldn't have made a difference. I don't think, like what I said I've done a review and I burst out laughing. I said, I can't do CGI. But that's like me doing CGI, and I don't know nothing about CGI. It's like just someone just got a picture and just put it and going right.
Yeah, the shading was
out.
weird. It just I don't know. It just doesn't look right.
Just leave it out.
Not. All right. Is there anything else you gentlemen want to add to our
One more thing.
Doctor
We haven't
Spoilers?
said Doctor Spoilers Stranger. I want to say one thing I did like, and you're going to call me a flipping idiot. I absolutely loved the relationship and moments between him and Rachel McAdams, because I did. I'm a sap. No, I did. I really loved it. Like, no, because it's all soppy in it, but I really loved the moments they had together, because it reminded me a bit of MJ and Peter, where they want that to be together, but they can't, kind of thing. And they added a little bit of that in there, and I was like, again, when you're saying with time restrictions and taking things out, maybe they cut out something more that could have. It's just what I mean in this movie. That's the things in the movie that it's like it goes, right, we've got something there, and it starts to feel good.
But it doesn't
go. No, let's carry on over there now.
Right.
Like, shit,
yeah,
dude,
I brought that up.
A bit more of that.
I brought that up to Seth in our venting conversation last night, and without going into spoiler territory, but there was something like after the main event had happened at the end of the movie.
Yeah. I know the bit you're talking about. Yeah.
There's
a moment.
The storyline that you're talking about was never addressed again.
Yeah.
It was never addressed again. We never. Yeah, it just wasn't. And again, that's spoiler territory, so we won't.
Because that's what I'm saying. Things, especially with a movie like this, if you incorporated something a bit more with that storyline, with them two, and him being worried about losing her, or because Peter's always got that fear of losing MJ. It's like no matter what's happening, there's the worry of what if you lose the loved one, and that's something that everyone can sort of relate to. And I think they could have maybe used that a bit more in this, even if she wasn't like a main focus character in it. The woman, is it Chris? Is it Christine? I think it's Christine or Chrissy or something. Christine. Even if it's not a main focus of the story, when she's in it, you're like, you can see that he gives a damn, and you're like, he's torn between it. And I think again, you should use that. If you've got that there, use it. It's just a little something, you know.
No, you're right, and they definitely did add some character development for Doctor Strange, which is
he was great, man.
Yeah, it's. Although, like, I almost feel like I almost am okay with Doctor Strange being in the background. You know, like, I don't need Doctor Strange movies. That's how I felt leading up to this. Like, I don't really need a Doctor Strange movie. I like where he is, or the role he played in the Infinity War, Endgame, what have you, and obviously No Way Home. But then when they dove down into his development into this movie, I began to like his character a little bit more on a surface level as opposed to what he can offer to the team. And I think they did a decent job addressing that. As I said, in the very last moments of the movie that fell off, like they addressed it, and then when he was back to his normal life, it's never talked about again.
Ask you, Seth, compare this to say Shang-Chi, Black Widow and Eternals. Where would you say this was better or worse than those?
I liked it more than Black Widow and Shang-Chi.
But not Eternals.
Maybe Eternals. I don't know. I really liked Eternals.
That's what. Same here.
Like more than I thought I would.
It's around that same. Yeah, it's kind of around that same. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, although I wish we would finally address the Eternals in the MCU. I thought this movie would. Like, hey, there's a celestial coming out of our planet. Like maybe they should have addressed that at some point.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like when that happened in Eternals, that celestial's hands coming out of the ocean, and then it just stays there, like it's now permanently part of the.
Strange, the guy looking over the planet, and I think, oh, well, we'll get to that. Get to that at some point.
Well, we'll find out that all this is taking place at the same time.
Here's a question for you. When is this meant to be set? Because that's one thing I was baffled all the way through it.
Yeah, like you and I were just talking about the same thing. I was saying, like, I wonder where all this is. They're probably going to say that this movie took place at the same time as the Eternals or something. I don't know. It's their timeline isn't quite clear yet. Yeah,
that's the problem with a lot of it. Yeah, because Spider-Man happens, this happens. We know Black Widow was before,
right?
Shang-Chi must have been before because we went and met some people that were. that's the problem with it, with this whole multiverse thing. It's like, when is Moon Knight set compared to this? Like, there's so many different things happening at the same time. It's difficult to put. Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, timing.
Doctor Strange is a few months after No Way Home. It seems to be about springtime in Doctor Strange. So No Way Home, let's say that was the end of No Way Home. Was it fall?
Yeah, I took, actually, I didn't mean to, but I just took notice that the color of the leaves when he was walking down the street, it was fall time. They're all bright orange and look like they're about to fall down.
Okay, so the end of No Way Home is December, right? So this would be that many months later. This is fall after No Way Home. No Way Home and Hawkeye take place at the same time. Eternals is before Hawkeye, and Moon Knight is after Hawkeye. So somewhere in there is Doctor Strange, whether it be right before or right after Moon Knight. So either way, Doctor Strange is after Eternals.
Right.
Wait a minute. So Hawkeye and No Way Home were taking place at the same time. Did they address that in Hawkeye?
Kind of. Like, the only way they addressed it, they mentioned the Statue of Liberty and how it was like under construction. They mentioned that in Hawkeye, but they weren't going to mention Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield.
Well, yeah, but like, it's just one of those things. Okay, whatever. So No Way Home is a Christmas movie. Got it. Even though it took place during Halloween.
Don't worry about it.
The end of it took place during Christmas time.
Did it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, see, this is the problem where this is what I meant by the MCU is getting convoluted. Like, it's there's just so much to it now. Like, maybe we need more movies like Doctor Strange 2, where it can just exist as a standalone. You know, it can exist on its own 2 feet without, well, it needs to connect to this, it needs to connect to that.
Seth's the man with all the answers. What is the actual next Marvel movie?
Thor.
Yeah.
Right,
Thor is less than 2 months away.
Okay. I wonder how this is going to do. I mean, I think it will do all right at the box office. Do you think this is going to do big? Do you think it's going to...
Yeah, I do.
Do you really... What, this one I'm talking about?
It's already the 8th highest grossing movie in its first release. It's already the 8th highest. So...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, chances are it's going to do pretty well. Okay. So I don't know. What do you guys predict? What do you think it's going to hit?
I think it'll get close to $1 billion. I don't know if it'll hit it though.
I think about 800.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd say it's. I think I'm going to go between Seth and Rahman. I'm going to say it's going to be above 800, but below $1 billion. If it reaches $1 billion, it's going to be like just at $1 billion. It's just going to barely be there. Jimbo says, hell yeah, I wonder if he's gonna find himself in this one. Oh yeah, okay, sorry, it took me a second. Thor, yeah, got it.
Yeah, no, because I know that's what the next one's about, isn't it? Because he's gonna be leaving Asgard, and
that's what Ramon was saying before. Yeah, like, oh, because
what's the name? Valkyrie's gonna take over, is that right?
What's that?
Is Valkyrie going to take over? Because if Valkyrie takes over and you've got Lady Thor, maybe Althor, Chris Hemsworth, goes off world maybe, and he sort of, don't know, like maybe tries to find himself in this one. Maybe. We'll see. It's going to be a new journey, a new uncharted territory for Thor. He's never found himself before. Well, I mean, honestly, Ramon, if you never find yourself, you are constantly looking. So maybe that he's just on this lifelong journey that he'll never find himself. Well, I'll tell you, I'm something of a scientist myself. All right, I think Ramon's checked out. That's still my favourite quote, I think, of all the MCU, because the way it comes in, it's just, something of a scientist myself. It's such a great. It is. It's a good one. Do you know what I noticed as well when I rewatched that, and I got really upset, and I didn't notice it in the theatres when they're on the Statue of Liberty and Octavia sees Tobey Maguire. They have a moment, and he says, "It's good to see you, dear boy," or something like that. And he says, "It's good to see you too." And I was like, I got well upset when I see it, like when I rewatched it at home, because I just don't, because so much was happening in the movie, I kind of missed that. It just went over my head. And when I watched it again, I was like, man, that was a nice moment. Like there's some really fucking good moments in that film. Yeah.
There are, but there's a whole bunch of really not good moments in that film too. All right, is there anything else you guys want to add to our Doctor Strange 2 no spoiler talk?
Wanda's fit.
What?
She's fit. I want to.
Okay, that's what fit means in the UK. I'll remember that if I ever
do you not have that over there?
Fit?
Oh, yeah, she's fit.
Well, fit means like fitness. Like
keep fit.
Hey,
fitness.
you take care of yourself. Like, hey, I went jogging today. I'm pretty fit.
I'd like to smash the granny out of her.
I don't even know. I understand that you're saying words. I just don't. I've never heard them put together in this manner before. I want to smash the granny out of her. It sounds like a freaking exorcism. Like, what are you talking about?
Well, she's Scarlet Witch.
I want to smash the granny out of her. The power of Christ compels you.
I wonder if that would have worked.
But yeah, it was
like
good.
the cross.
Oh, using the exorcism on Scarlet Witch.
Hey, Seth, what would you give Doctor Strange out of 10?
7. I didn't hate it.
That's not bad.
7, 8. Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying.
I never said I disliked it.
You kind of gave,
but I think maybe
off that vibe.
You didn't give me the chance. I started to say it, and then you guys kept talking.
I think what it is though the expectations are so high. That's the problem. Not on you, but that's the problem with all of us. The expectations are so high. We've been spoiled for choice with bloody good content, and you're kind of hoping like, the next one's going to be like, it's going to give you that. And it's difficult, I think.
Well, you bring up a good point here, Ramon, and that is expectations and what they mean. So, like, with No Way Home, we knew what we were getting. And, like, we're expecting that. You know, like, this is, like, the top of what we could get in this movie, and we got all of it. And we're like, oh, it happened. It happened.
Yeah.
So, with this movie that was under wraps, like, they really didn't leak out very much. Very little was leaked. And like, we're all thinking, oh my God, what could happen? Anything. The world was endless with opportunity and possibility of what could happen in this movie. And they gave us,
for example, the Illuminati thing, just off the top of your head, because we always speculate and it's not spoilers, but the Illuminati thing, someone in the Illuminati had a wife who weren't in this movie. They could have had something happen to that wife. Like Scarlet could have done something to the wife of this thing, which would have left that guy like, and that would have left us like, oh my God, that's something's going to go on there. Like, and I'm just, because we're talking about it, like, they missed the mark on certain bits, you're right, because when you've got all of that there, you should have utilised it a little bit better, maybe. Yeah,
that entire Illuminati scene was trashed. Like, I honestly, like, I didn't like it. Well, okay, let me rephrase that. In my review, as I said, it was awesome and weak. It was awesome because of, Scarlet Witch's, what she added to the scene, but everything else, like what the whole, what I thought they think was going to be like the moment was a dud. It just fell flat. Even seeing, and it's not a spoiler because we see him in the trailer, but Professor X being in this movie, seeing him, okay. I wasn't impressed. I wasn't impressed.
I know. When you put it like that, like these epic effing characters should have been,
it could have been done a lot better, for sure. And maybe it was. Who knows? Maybe that's on the cutting room floor. Maybe that was part of the reshoots. We have no idea. All right. With that being said, guys, Ramon, what would you give this movie 1 out of 10?
Again, probably same as Seth, 7. I gave it an 8, so I'll stick with that 8.
Right. I don't really know 1 out of 10. I do grading, a grade system, but a B, so I'd probably give it like an 8, an 8 out of 10. I would, because I did enjoy it. I could pick the movie apart. There are things I don't like about it, and I'm always going to bitch about. But I'll tell you what, if you brought this movie over right now, or someone said, "Hey, I got a ticket to go see this movie in theaters," I'm going with you. So like, I want to. And I saw it in 3D, by the way. The movie, I'm not into 3D movies. I'm really not, and I didn't even mean to buy
Wonder in 3D.
I didn't mean to I didn't mean to buy 3D tickets. I didn't know I had 3D tickets until I showed up and they handed me glasses. I'm like, oh, okay, dude, movie was great in 3D. It really was. And real quick, I got to see the Avatar trailer in 3D as well.
You know, I made a joke.
This is an actual trailer.
It was at the beginning of Doctor Strange. The Avatar trailer.
I didn't have that.
I think some people didn't get it. Yeah, I've seen a couple of people online like, "Hey, they promised us this trailer for the movie. I didn't get it."
The actual new footage of the new film, yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
Avatar 2.
There was a whole like minute and a half, is it, or maybe 2 minutes of trailer?
Yeah.
Poor and like the thing about the new Avatar trailer is that it's supposed to be like in a high frame rate of shooting. Is that right?
That's yeah.
Well, but listen, technology is way different than it used to be. So I'll tell you what, I didn't notice it when I saw the trailer. And 3D wise, like when they did that like half underwater, half like above water camera angle, like I really like for a second there, I was like, whoa, okay. I felt like I was underwater for a second. I really did. So that's one movie I do want to see in 3D is Avatar.
It's one of those I think I'm going to try and keep away from. That is one I'm going to keep away from watching trailers and stuff. I just want to watch it because I like James Cameron. I love the last one. It's been a long time, but you know he comes with the goods. So whatever he does, he's probably going to make it a 2-3 hour movie, and it'll be like one hell of a like whoa. So I'd just rather just go into it not knowing anything. I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've got many years of hiding in the shadows because they've got 4 more sequels coming out of Avatar. And listen, I'm not a huge fan of the original Avatar. I thought it was a great movie, but I'm like, I watched it once and I've had no urge to watch it again.
Yeah. I've watched it. I think I've seen it like 2 or 3 times. It's not one that I'm like you say. When you look at a lot of the movies, Captain America, I'll always keep watching a lot of them. Infinity War, I'll watch them over and over and over again. I wouldn't go and watch Avatar over and over again, but I just recall the first time I watched that at the theatre and I was like it was just amazing to see that. And I think it'll be another one of them. It creates the whole fucking world of like religions and music and it's just a new world. So I know that we'll all come away like that was incredible, but maybe like a one-off kind of. If
you do watch any trailers for this, watch the first one that released from on. It doesn't give away anything at all. It just it's
just shots from
it gives you a visual aesthetic of what the movie's going to look like. You know, it's obviously going to be held more
wonderful, man.
On the water.
I'm
like
looking forward to that, man.
And some of the scenes, some of the shots that they had were just incredible. Like when he's underwater and like he kind of does that pets like their version of a whale underwater, but it's so big and massive and it's in 3D and I'm like, oh my god, I didn't realize it until just now that trailer worked on me because I've had no interest in Avatar 2, but now I'm really excited not only to see it but to see it in 3D. So all right, that's it. I'm calling it. Put a pin in it, guys. We are done with this conversation today. I want to thank Seth and Ramon for joining us here at Film Trigger for our drive-by news / non-spoiler talk of Doctor Strange 2. We will be back here schedule-wise. We're here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. As of right now, the time is about 6 o'clock, but I might push that up to a later time. We'll see. That will be announced at another date. With that being said, Seth, thank you so much for joining us. Seth, also a part of Film Trigger, and Ramon from Hit or Miss TV gave us our Johnny Depp and Amber Heard update. You can check out his channel, Hit or Miss TV. The link is in the description below. Please head over to his channel and subscribe. Hey, and while you're at it, do us a favor, subscribe to this channel too, because we like people, but we want you people to like us, and so come join us, subscribe, do the thumbs up thing, and conversate with us in the comments. That's what. And this is how we're ending it. Is that good? Can I change it up a little bit, or is Seth gonna freak out for creativity? All right,
I'm gonna kick you out. No, I'm kidding.
You know exactly how to kick me out. All right. With that being said, we will see you soon. Stay trigger happy, my friends. Peace.